to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from Denver, Colorado right now. Josh Lander, joined as always by my guy on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer, and we are looking at some player props, usually our favorite video of the day. Really, really big NBA slate for you tonight. So we've actually got 3 game episodes, and then our player props episode here that we're about to bring to you. Make sure you do like and subscribe to that page so that you could be eligible for the gift card opportunities that we are giving away. Not this episode, as Donovan Mitchell was our gift card opportunity yesterday in that Jazz and Hawks game and managed to get 35 points, which someone did correctly put in those comments, who was liked and subscribed to the page. So they win that gift card. So we'll be bringing you another one here in the upcoming week or so, and make sure to like and subscribe to be eligible. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area. Nate, let's jump into some player props on this big Wednesday night slate.
Yeah, we're looking at straight points props for the most part. I think you meant to say Donovan had 35 points, rebounds, assists, but
that is what I meant.
Neither here nor there. I'm looking for probably the 5th straight game here. DeMar DeRozan scoring props, because it has hit 5 straight times, and it's really been the most confident thing on any NBA slate in that span. Yet odds makers only ticking him up 1 point on DraftKings, 23.5, and it's even money. I just don't understand that. And it's real juicy on FanDuel for 25 points in a win, plus 240 odds. I don't think the Bulls are going to beat this Mavericks team without DeMar getting about 25. I mean, they're not really beating any good teams without that, because they have no half-court offense without him. We talked about it again and again. When the game slows down, they just hand the ball to DeMar. He's averaging 31.8 points per game on basically 50, 40, 90 splits with a 31% usage rate in his last 5 games. Dallas plays at a snail's pace. They make you beat them in the half court. And DeRozan was able to do that in his last 3 with the Spurs, averaged nearly 31 points per game. His last meeting with that, in that balanced Spurs system, goes for 37 points on a 38.8% usage rate against the Mavericks. 30, just a perspective, that would lead the NBA if over the course of the season, 38% usage. So if the Spurs are willing to just say, look, DeMar, they don't have an answer for you, we're just going to run our offense through you. Obviously, the Bulls are going to continue to do that against this Mavericks team, and he's been lighting it up. I mean, I mentioned the NBA MVP video article last week, plus 30,000 for DeMar DeRozan to win MVP. And Zach LaVine was like plus 5,000. Didn't make any sense. He's the MVP of this team by far. And honestly, if the season ends today, he's maybe a 4th or 5th candidate.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And DeMar's, it's a little bit of a resurgence for him anyway. It's pretty crazy how just the level of elitism he's showing. And yeah, I was on this one with you with DeMar, not only because of how often it's been hitting lately, but also because we do know his history against the Mavs when he played them a bunch of times each year on the Spurs. And it was always good, as you mentioned, 30 plus a game. So feel really good about that one. I'm actually going to be looking at a game that should be a lot faster paced than that Bulls game, which is the Grizzlies and the Hornets, most specifically the 2 worst defensive teams in the league right now, in just straight defensive rating and giving up a ton of points while both scoring a ton of points. Right, they've clearly both laid their head down in the bed that they made of no defense and tons of offense, with a lot of athleticism all over the floor and a lot of guys that can get up and down. The guy I'm looking at in this game is Miles Bridges, and once again hitting some points specifically because I feel comfortable with points in this game. I think there's going to be a ton of them, in which case someone's got to get a bunch of them. On Charlotte, I like Miles Bridges leading the team in scoring this year, averaging 22 points, 7.5 boards, by the way, and 3.5 assists. Playing like he's definitely on his way to an all-star if he keeps this up for the rest of the first half of this year. And really, his ability to get points tonight is not something that I'd be worried about. When you look at the way that Memphis gives up points, right? They give up a ton of fast break points, 4th most. Charlotte plays at the 4th fastest pace in the league, looking to get up and down and really get turnovers and ways to get free buckets that way. And Miles Bridges is usually on the end of a LaMelo Ball full court pass for a really fantastic dunk. So the fact that he's already averaging 22.5 and they've got his points at 20.5, I like that. The only thing I would consider, I don't love having to take Charlotte on the road. I don't really love taking Charlotte at all right now. They're just an offensive team. They're not a great basketball team. But if you do think that they have the opportunity to win, you can really up that Miles Bridges bet by saying 20 points and a Charlotte win. Gets you plus 330 on your money at FanDuel, and that player performance double might be worth a little sprinkling there, but you're already at about better than even money if he does get, or about at even money if he does get 21 points tonight, which is once again under his average.
Yeah, I did not quite realize how well Miles Bridges was playing this season. I know he had a couple spike games, but to average 22 points per game, clearly he's next along with LaMelo on that team. And yeah, they're not going to be playing any defense. So we haven't seen the props released tonight, but I would be all over Ja Morant props when those come out probably, because I think he'll have a chip on his shoulder to go up against LaMelo, who's getting a little more pub, despite the fact Ja's probably having a better all-around season at this point.
Yeah.
We have to touch on that Lakers Heat game just because of the whole finals rematch and because the Lakers are walking disaster to a degree, coming off an overtime win. They're definitely not projected to take care of business. The recent trends, in fact, I think they've lost 11 of their last 12 when favored after an overtime win. Some obscure stat. They don't string any wins together. And Miami, if Bam Adebayo plays, will probably get that W. However, he's questionable. And either way, I think Anthony Davis is going to get his points because LeBron is out. The Lakers are actually playing at the fastest pace in the league over their last 6, with LeBron playing sparingly during that period. Russell Westbrook has pretty terrible splits against Miami. They know how to handle him. And so I think he might adjust a little bit. Probably do some more feeding of AD in that pick and roll. And AD has been scoring 27 plus in 3 straight home games. He got 31 points per game on 62% field goal shooting against Bam and company, their last 3 home games in the NBA Finals in the bubble, for what that's worth, and 23 points per game on clean 50% his last 3 regular season. So I think, just the points here. AD with him, I don't ever take the peripheral stats. He's not a good rebounder, despite relative to his size and length. Right. So I would just take 26 points. I think he gets there.
Yeah, that's fine. I think, he does lift himself up in the other stat categories when LeBron is out, as we saw in a couple of recent losses, actually, for the Lake Show before they pulled out that overtime win against Charlotte. And he did get, I believe, 15 boards a couple of times, one time, and above 10. But yeah, for the most part, someone's got to score for this team tonight. Points might be hard to come by in general for these Lakers tonight. But I do agree with you that Russ is somebody who has shown against the Lakers in recent past to get a lot more assists. I believe he had 13 assists on the last time the Wizards, when he stood up for the Wizards against them. It was a really crazy game, actually, that came down to the wire. But that was also a different Heat team. And this one is insane defensively. I'm like I said earlier, whenever I watch the Heat this season, see Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry coming to a certain guard, I'm like, just give it up, dude. You're toast. Like, that's the 2 best defenders at their positions right now. They're just scrappy, crazy guys. So, but they're not guarding AD, to your point. So, feel pretty good about him able to score, especially with Bam questionable. Hero also questionable, just for y'all to know and monitor in that one. And then our last player prop here, going with Scotty Barnes, a guy that I've enjoyed watching. Right, he's got this game that is just a double machine at times, always up there in boards and really crashing for a Raptors team that's often undersized. But the front court of him and Pascal is pretty menacing at this point. As they take on the C's tonight, I've mentioned a couple times, I don't know if this hurts your feelings, but they don't really have a low post presence, and I'm not really scared of anybody, including Robert Williams, to be honest, right now, down low for the C's, especially against a guy who's like Scotty Barnes, who's really crafty in getting from the high post down to that low post and getting easy buckets. He's averaging about almost 17 points and 9 boards a game. And 2 road games this year, it's actually incredible that he's got better averages there: 23 points per game on the road, 12.5 rebounds, and 58% shooting. So I think Toronto is a team that has proven to be pretty good on the road. He's already, a front runner for Rookie of the Year this year, and is getting a ton of minutes, and that's huge with Rookie, as we know. 35.5 minutes a game, and that's something. And if you don't have the, you're not on the court, you don't have the ball in your hands, you don't have the opportunity to play well. But he's earning those minutes, and so a double for him tonight is not out of the question. But if you just want to take his points and rebounds, you do have to use 20 of them, right? It's not quite a double where you need those 10 boards, but if he gets 20 rebounds and points combined, which I would feel really good about if he's going to get 15-ish points, I think, against this team tonight, you got to feel really good that he can get another 5 to 6 boards, right, to get him over that total.
Yeah, and it's interesting. He's now, plus 350 for rookie of the year, along with Evan Mobley, another guy who I thought about his props tonight against the Wizards. With Colin Sexton out, Mobley stepping up big time. Both those guys are very much new age NBA wings, can put the ball on the floor, can rebound, can score in a variety of ways. And this is going to be a new age matchup against those Celtics, who are kind of hybrid on the wing, that kind of positionless at times. And he played 35 minutes in his only second NBA game at Boston. I think he'll get the playing time on the road, where he's averaged 23 points, 12 rebounds a game. That's, these props are well below his averages in that small sample size. So I think that's a great bet here, despite the minus 20 odds.
Yeah, and like you said, like we spoke about in our Celtics and Raptors video, we do see some points being scored in that one. So that would lead to another good couple of player props available. But that is all the time that we have for today on this giant NBA slate. We do have a bunch of videos out there, including this one and some game lines. So make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Enjoy tonight's action, and until we see you next, happy betting.